Hello, this is Daniel Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. Much of the discussion regarding the item replacement system has focused on concerns about how it will affect upcoming crafting systems and what they are calling the player economy. And before I risk turning into what has been mostly civil discussion otherwise, let me define one term. Player-to-player commerce, P2P, is when players exchange directly with each other. P2P is almost unavoidable in an MMO, and having robust P2P commerce enriches a game. And games can encourage P2P with a secure trading interface, which has long been lacking in Star Citizen, and with player stores, which will be available as part of the base building system, as well as ships like the Merchantman and Privateer. However, P2P commerce, no matter how robust, is not the same thing as a player economy. A player economy is a game economy where P2P commerce is the predominant factor driving supply, demand, and prices. A game with a player economy must have robust P2P commerce, but a game with strong P2P commerce does not have to have a player-driven economy. To reference the real world, in the real world, P2P commerce would be called C2C, consumer to consumer, and is typified by swap meets and Etsy. Now, swap meets and Etsy are robust marketplaces for sure, but they are nowhere near the foundation of the real-world economy. As to the question of whether a player economy exists in Star Citizen, it was actually asked and answered many years ago when Chris Roberts was asked if players could manipulate the economy in Star Citizen, and the answer was no. And the rationale was that players represented no more than 1 in 10 of the population of the world. In reality, of course, 1 in 10 was a huge exaggeration. Just fly over the planescape of ArcCorp or the massive metropolises of New Babbage, Orison, or Lorville, and the notion that the comparable fly speck of people, represented by the players, represent the predominant source of goods or the predominant demand for goods makes no sense at all. Even when it comes to being able to build things ourselves, does it make any sense that the only people who would want to buy them are that same fly speck of the population of the verse? And it was and still is a good decision to not commit to a player economy, because they are notoriously hard to manage and stabilize, because the players are constantly trying to manipulate things for their benefit. After all, what is the point of having a player economy other than trying to exploit it? And events like Resupply or Die would be far harder to create and even harder to maintain in a player-run economy. But we have been told, have we not, that we will be able to build things better than those available in stores. So, lots of things are unavailable in stores. It was the staple of 80s infomercials and HSN presenters. This offer is not available in stores, so call now. Operators are standing by. So just because something isn't available in stores does not mean that it is not part of the economy, or that literally nobody else is making it across all these billions of people in the verse. You will still be getting your license to blueprint to build an item from the guild, but you aren't being promised an exclusive for it. So these not available in-store items that we will be creating will be, from an economist standpoint, artisanal goods, though I am loath to use the term because it is so overdone in marketing. And let's be clear, artisanal goods, even truly one-of-a-kind items, do have a market price.
Wow.
All you have to do is look at an episode of Antiques Roadshow or Pawn Stars, and you see them fawn over how unique or special something is that has been brought in, and then the expert quite confidently says exactly what the appraisal is.
£12,000 for it.
Good God.
An economist will be quite certain that priceless is for credit card commercials and cheesy scriptwriters, and everything else, has a retail price and a wholesale price. So what else will an economist say about artisanal goods? Well, they say that they will have significantly higher retail prices because of perceived scarcity and relatively low wholesale prices because they are slow and hard to find buyers. So yes, when crafting comes to the game, you should be able to take your crafted items to a specialized dealer, Wickalo perhaps, and get a P2E wholesale price for it. But it may not be a price that you are happy with because Wickalo says very unique, hard-to-find buyer, which is why you might instead seek out a P2P transaction. And your crafted artisanal items will have a presumed quite high E2P retail value to the right buyer, which is key when I get to how the eventual Tier 1 and Tier 2 item recovery should work from an economic standpoint. But before that, let me get to my primary problem with the Tier 0 implementation in 4.1, and thus my priority for Tier 1. My primary concern with the Tier 0 implementation is that while it is undoubtedly convenient, that convenience comes at the expense of having interesting choices. In Tier -1, the live game since 3.15, you had a choice to make a corpse run or to not. You could just toss some looted gear you had in storage. This way, I think that the Tier 0 is a step backwards from Tier 1. It's convenient, but there's no interesting choices. Now, how do I think that Tier 1 can be just as convenient while restoring interesting choices of what to do in any given defeat through the application of economics? Well, my idea is to consider Tier 1 as a buying service rather than an insurance or anything magical. In other words, one click on the 30th century equivalent of an Amazon shopping list, and bang, you get your full kit delivered for full game economy retail price. So, if you have a top-notch gear and aren't far away, you may look at that price and say, oh, that's a lot. Let's throw on some basic gear and do a corpse run and get my original stuff back instead for free. And if the corpse run fails, you can go ahead and change your mind and still get it delivered from Amazon. Because you didn't register that looted gear, you have both the convenience and the power of choices. Now, recovery of subscriber and pledge store gear should cost the same as standard gear of the same type, because one of the goals of this whole system is to not penalize you for using the pledge store and subscriber gear you've paid for or was given you in recognition. However, neither should it allow you to get around having to pay to recover them. So the necessary thing is to have account-linked items be recovered exactly the same, including price, as the everyday stuff of the same utility. However, when crafting becomes a thing, higher than standard quality crafted gear should definitely have a high retail value because of their limited supply and artisanal nature, which means you might decide that instead of paying that convenient but expensive price, you would go to a player-to-player commerce to your friend of a friend who can supply you for less than the full retail price because it is still for them well over the wholesale price that the Wakelo will give them. But you might say that is what you meant by player economy. And it might have been what you meant, but the difference is that the bounds of what your P2P commerce will operate in, the lower limit set by what traders will buy the crafted item for, and the upper limit set by what traders will sell the crafted item for, are established by the game, not by player commerce. But by having the recovery cost be the full retail price, the Tier 1 item recovery would not have to be a threat to P2P commerce. In fact, it could be quite enabling of it. Now for an update on our giveaways. We have our giveaway for the Raise Captains members of a pair of VKB Space Combat Edition joysticks that's ready to be wrapped up, plus a members-only special skills contest to earn the Misk Fortune or Mariah Guardian, then the annual IAE Week giveaway, this year for the shiny stainless steel Sirius shipping ship, the Starlancer Max, and the Grow the Channel ship giveaway at 20,000 subscribers, for the winner's choice of the marvelous multiplayer multi-role mining meta, the Arasta, or the brand new Big Box Bargain Bazaar, the Merchantman. One entry per video. Be a member for automatic entry on each of these contests, or comment and somehow include the secret word. And the secret word for this video is the term for crafted goods that are way overused in marketing. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Daniel Raymond for Ray's Guide.